Right. The five and one, five short ones. Shag carpet incident. Car with one green light. Carolyn Murphy, Lightworker. A message delivered twice. And pink bike. So it's a surrogate for my dear friend Kathleen. Kathleen was built along the lines of Audrey Hepburn. She made jewelry. She bought a house in Albuquerque, which was great, except for one thing. It was shag carpeting with the longest pile she'd ever seen everywhere. Down, down in the pile, the color was bad. With no money to replace it, it was time for a hands-on approach, sometimes referred to as of a green not found in nature. Yes, the 70s. With no money to replace it, it was time for a hands-on approach. Renting a lawnmower, a gas one at that, opening all the windows and doors, and mowing the thing, which she did. Proactive girl. And here are by Remingtons of cattle rustlers, although I guess it looks like they're processing a buffalo, but it's the illustration for this next one. It was moonlight. Uh, okay. And it has yet another illustration. Very important. The setting some nights. Right. The Allman Brothers music played against the background of the drive home from work at 12:30 at night. For my glamorous job waiting tables at Florida's version of Denny's. With my almost nightly failed plan to get stoned enough to come down by work, which turned into getting stoned enough to blaze through work. With the free coffee, some nights they would have set a mile-long line of fire in the turpentine plantations to burn the brush. The trees got a little blackened, but lit up like stage lighting from below. One night I saw a car with one green tail light, only a faint glow up front. They were going kind of slow. Something told me to approach cautiously. Yeah, it was like the light on the old-timey rail radios, but that's all. I mean, just black, a glow, and this green light. I couldn't make out any detail. The whole car was obscured by a black mass of some sort. Then emerged the first detail. The green light was the eye of an enormous black Angus, its head lolling over the back of a boat trailer and catching the light from my headlights. Cattle rustlers, modern day figures from the westerns I grew up on, hanging a fence rope nearest tree. Also knew they had a gun. Time to ease back and let them and their overburdened boat trailer get away. Melrose, Florida, 1975. And here we have the marvelous and redoubtable Carolyn Murphy. I actually enjoyed a nice back and forth with her online before her house burned up in the LA fire. And she folded her tent and withdrew. I went to, this is years before all that. I don't know what the hell was it? I don't know, in the 80s anyway. I went to an event at Macy's introducing some very serious top name makeup. Everybody was wearing black, including an enormous Samoan with an earpiece who was not a makeup artist, I don't think. I went because Carolyn Murphy was going to be there. I was the only guy almost. She was on this dais, which was lit up from within and spotlit. So it was like meeting the queen or possibly a female pope. I couldn't believe how serious everyone was. It was in the middle of the day, grim, fix these goddamn wrinkles. Mostly middle-aged women, you know, competing with her husband's cute secretary. I didn't write that. I'm just putting it in here. At one point, a guy in a wheelchair rolled up for her to sign something. When he got to her, he stood up. There was a gasp. The collective thought being he had regained the ability to walk just by being in that glow. It really was. It was like, oh my God. Right. On we go. Um, this is one of millions of Armenian women with strong character. We said it would take 100 Jews to match an Armenian in a negotiation. You might have something. New York City, Taos, New Mexico, 1977. In New York, I used to help an old woman who had a rug store on Amsterdam near 86th Street. I would see her on my walk home outside her store with a bucket, a box of Tide, and a garden hose, washing Persian and Armenian rugs on the sidewalk. I helped her move the heavy rugs and incidentally learned that hand wash and scrub by the gutter were the same thing. She always lectured me about character, rolling her R's with great effect. This is her quote. My father was a bishop in Armenia and had millions and millions, was her refrain. She was 84, so that would make her 22 in 1915, when they had to run away. Well, they didn't exactly run away, they were put on a death march. Uh, I was drawn into the silver and red Armenian world. Silvery light, just that red and the color in the rugs over and over. A few months later, I was in Taos, New Mexico with my family. My mother-in-law had just died, so everything was somewhat open and magnified. I felt restless after driving all day. The, the area called to me like a home, and it's completely new, all in the same time. We were at the Sun God Motel near the town square, so I decided to have a look at the town, even though it was 11:30 at night. The only place open was the hotel on the town square. I walked in and was immediately confronted by a figure all in black, sitting by a small adobe corner fireplace. She had costume jewelry pinned on her chest, made to look like military medals, and a large black hat somewhere between a turban and a cloche. Before we said more than hello, she launched into, "My father was a bishop and had millions and millions." And then, just as my quivering brain expected at this point, went into the bit about, "You must have character." Needless to say, I didn't object. Still, character sounded like a term from the days of chivalry. Develop more character wasn't on my recent to-do list, at least not in so many words. Was I wandering around with a sign over my head that reading "needs more character" that only old Armenian ladies could see? I set to work immediately, just in case. I love stuff like that, you know? You go, oh yeah, life is chaos. It's random. It was a coincidence. And that happens enough times. You kind of go, well, I don't know about that. And here's a fine example, or so I believe. Uh, at the beautiful Schwinn bicycle, that same make and model and color and everything with chrome fenders that I own, a girl's bicycle. Perfect. So you get in trouble, you can just bail. You don't have to lift your leg up and get around the seat. You just like and step away. All right. Once I had a pink bike with chrome fenders that I got using a pendulum. I was up by campus. This was in Berkeley, UC. I got the idea that I could find a bike that way. Seemed unlikely, but I had nothing better to do, and the pendulum started swinging. After 4 or 5 blocks, I turned the corner, and there was a pile of student stuff dumped in the driveway by a very irritated landlord. On top was the bike. None of the 4 or 5 guys standing there made a move for it. Yay for pink. The only drawback was that I don't think anyone thought they'd look good on a pink girl's bike. What do they know? The only drawback was that was was guy on pink bike equals guy on stolen pink bike, and having to explain where I got it to the campus police in the middle of the night. I lied. I can't remember. I may have told the truth and just left out the pendulum. All right, that's the stories.